excited about being here with you and to talk about teaming, an area that several of us have spent quite a bit of time. This is work that Marvin Washington and I'm the handsome one on the left. Marvin is on the right. And I've known Marvin now going on 3 decades. And we have spent the last 21 years in the Southern African region, total lapse time, several years, but steadily over, working with different governments, primarily the government of Botswana. And but we work worldwide looking at teams. Now, really we weren't. We were looking at accelerated change and the issue of complexity and how it impacts leadership, and written several books on that, and it's great stuff. But we then started taking a look at, well, have teams shifted? And we were going to a lot of places that you could see that the teams were creating transformative change, not just incremental change, transformative. They looked like super teams, hyped up on something. And so we said, well, maybe we should study these. And we said, no, we know all about teams. We studied teams in the 80s and the 90s. We had a number of assessment tools into the 2000s. We knew how to assess based upon high-performance work system teams, and we had the methodologies to sustain higher performance. Why would we look at teams? David spoke about, called up the ghost of Epictetus, and there's another quote he has: it's difficult to teach a man what he thinks he already knows. So I humbled myself along with Marvin, and we went out and studied teams over a period of a couple of years and research papers, and ended up in a text. The issue was that teaming, again, there was a lot known about teaming. And the issue of a team, a group of people formed to achieve a specific goal, there's a number of characteristics that, again, are measurable and directly causality effect on terms of overall performance. Robust leadership, quality decision-making, interpersonal mastery, boundary management, a renewal function. You can see those. Those are important. And what we discovered was that those are still very much in play. But on these super teams that deal with transformational change, abrupt, discontinuous step function change, there were 4 characteristics that were in addition to those. So he said, oh, that's wonderful. We have a finding. How shall we share this other than dry journals? How might we share this information? Well, we're spending this time in Botswana. Now we tie the story together. And we're looking for vehicles everywhere to tell the message. And we start on one long weekend out game watching. And we said, well, is it about animals? Could we actually use groupings of animals to tell this story? Well, first we found the zebras. Well, the zebra didn't offer a very good model in the sense that the zebra, of course, runs in a herd, and the predator is looking for the prey that's the weakest, and once discovering that, will attack. So the survival instinct of the zebra is to find itself in the middle of the herd, not too far out in front, not too far in the back. We did notice there are teams like that out there that are change adverse. New leader comes on, and its first thing is, how can I hide in the herd? Not too interesting. We've seen it before. That's not going to carry the message about these super traits, 4 super traits. Next, look at the lion. Of course, lions and the number of crests that lions are in. And we knew the lion story. We knew the lion is easily identifiable with a big mane and the big roar, letting the female lions and the young adolescents do most of the hunting, and then coming in, and even the term lion share. I've talked to many groups, and I've asked the term of lion share, and it's more wrong than it's right. People say, well, it's the most, it's the first. No, it's as much as the male lion can consume. And if there's any left over, go for it until I get up after about 12, 14 hours of sleep. And if it's not enough, then I guess you just didn't hunt enough. Go at it again while I snooze. So the issue of the lion, we see this type of team out there where it's not without respect for the team, but it's between the team and me and the team, and if ever those get crossed, it's about me. Jim Collins writes the book Good to Great, and this would be a good model. The lion on each hunt comes back with food 5 out of 10 times. That's this hunting ratio. This kill ratio is less than that. It comes back only about 3.5 times. The other 1.5, it steals food from other predators. Of course, kills the lion cubs if sired by someone else. And if the young males get too aggressive, then of course what happens is those are chased off. So we've seen that type of team. Whereas that charismatic, authoritative leader that gets results, this is the predominant type of team there is operating in the world, has success. This is what it's portrayed to look like. It's parental in nature, right? I'll take care of you as long as you play along. But as I said, this is my experience. The next animal, cheetah. You know, cheetah's fascinating. I've seen them in hunts a number of times, which is unique in itself. It's not that they go up to 70 miles per hour, it's how fast they get going. It's amazing to see it jump into action. Of course, it's a light body. Speed is what it's all about. This is a turnaround leader of a team. They rush into the team, stir it up, and like the kill ratio on the cheetah, about 3 out of 10, they stir up the dust, but when it all settles, not much has happened. The herd reconstitutes itself. We've seen this type of team. Beautiful animals. I took this one just about 4 months ago. Solitary hunters. Sometimes with a brother, but pretty much speed is it. Make the impression. Now then we came across the wild dogs of Africa, the most effective predator on earth. The wild dog does everything different than other groupings of animals. It ends up hunting, of course, in packs. There's an alpha dog. There's a female alpha dog, male, female alpha dog. They'll end up have pups. They'll go on hunts. They'll leave some people behind, some dogs behind on the hunt to care. They'll even leave behind maybe a dog that has a wound in the paw, acacia thorn or something. They'll go out and hunt, and what they'll hunt are primarily 80% of the diet is impala. They'll hunt successfully. They'll come back and they'll regurgitate the food first for the pups, then for the wounded dog, then for the nurses, and then consume whatever's left. If there's not enough left, then they'll go out and hunt for themselves, the reverse of the lion. McNutt and Boggs are the two researchers that have done the real study on the wild dogs. Understand that we're just using the wild dog as a carrier of these concepts. It's not original animal research, not like swarming of bees or anything, but there's a lot of, read about the wild dog, fascinating animal. They'll share hunting grounds with adolescent males for up to 6 months. And then the adolescent males have a choice of, did you form your own pack, or you can come back at any time because it's really about the hunt as long as you recognize who's the alpha dog. Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? I will tell you they're much hated, though, in the terms of the way they feed, and they're different than the cats in that they don't necessarily suffocate the prey. But this is a nice picture. Have this memory, not the other memory. What are the characteristics? Pack vision, pack leadership, individual demonstrated skill, think contribution, and then tenacity. In the area of tenacity especially, one other fact is they'll hunt, although the impala is a quick kill, they'll hunt a large antelope like hoodoo, and hunts been recorded to last up to 3 days. They'll chase it to death. Too stupid to give up. Just stay with it. Now, we've seen this type of team that's different in that the pack vision of these super teams means that people come to the team already knowing what they're about. They don't come to the team because they like the brand or the pay system. And oh, by the way, the process that we use to hire folks is changing rapidly because usually it's your skill. What's your veto? What's your CV? What have you done? Where have you worked? Are you good at accounting? There's a lot of firms, a lot of organizations that don't hire that way. It's like, are you salivating to get what I'm after? And have you shown that in the past? Pack leadership is first leading self. It's not looking up to the lion leader. It's actually saying, I'm constituted as a leader of other individuals, and I'm with this group. Let's go get something, and at the appropriate time, I'll step out in front. No weak links. And again, the drive is so strong, not giving up. Let me give you a couple of quick examples of this. Some historical. Cirque du Soleil, you know that. Think in terms of the pack vision. 3 out-of-work clowns, led by a Guy Laliberté, loves the circus, loves the acrobats, wants a storyline, just doesn't want the animals. One of the 3 had just gotten back from Europe with papier-mâché animal circus. It didn't work out too well. Created $1 billion a year industry now. Incorporated other wild dogs. In fact, Guy Laliberté likes Formula One racing. He had George Harrison over there a long time ago to his place in Quebec, and after party they had a little demonstration. He got George Harrison souped up on that. George went after Apple to release the music, and of course we have the Love show. If 3 clowns can do this, why? They just wanted it. That's what they wanted. This is one of my favorite, and I have to talk about it since I spent so much time in Paris at the Musée d'Orsay. So here I go. I'm talking about the Impressionists now. Monet, Cézanne, Degas. Late 1800s, they take in a period of high finance of art by the French government institutions, Paris institutions. They went and said, we're experimenting with this new type of sculpture and, as well as paintings, and they got the ultimate snub, which was, we can't fund it. We like to fund you. You've done other good work in realistic and classic art, but we only have an impression of what you're trying to paint. Why don't you finish it and bring it back? And typical of Wild Dogs, the art is now known as Impressionist art. They ran 5 shows over 8 years on their own dime, which was not easy at the time, proving that this is an experiment. And one wasn't the leader. They were all leaders. They all stood together. They all pushed the envelope and included other leaders into a pack of wild dogs until it was undeniable that this was the new fashionable art, at which time the French government wanted to fund them. Couldn't wait for it. How about individual skill? No weak link. Think about the SEALs. Think about other elite units. Stephen Ambrose with Band of Brothers and Citizen Soldier. Soldiers. They weed out because it's so important that success be a part of it. Mia Hamm, Mother Teresa, with brothers and sisters of mercy. Are you in this thing? Do you know what we're hunting? Can you contribute? Long term. And finally, tenacity. David McCullough's book, 1776, is a wonderful book to read to know how close we came to a total collapse. What a year of utter disasters that we had. But in his correspondence, George Washington wrote again and again about perseverance and tenacity, about perseverance and spirit. He also wrote that a people that have not had restraint must be led. They will not be drove or driven. He understood the characteristics of wild dogs. A lot of wild dogs teams out there. This is dangerous even to put this up here because it's not for the organization that we're putting up. It says that there are teams within these organizations and other teams that we've seen in other organizations and documented. But the organization itself may be going away from wild dog behavior, or they may be spawning new wild dog teams. So what's the lesson here? Well, a nice little ditty on pack. Pick your pack. Pick not based upon the traditional way. Find people that are hungry for something, that were hungry before they met you. Find people that have a spirit to move ahead. Align the visions. Take time to ask people, what are you about? What are you about? What is a common thread here? What would meet all of us or all of our visions? Create using engaged spirits. This is where the hunting idea falls down. It's about co-creation. It's not necessarily about killing prey. It's about co-creation. And finally, be the type that's too stupid to give up. If you've really gotten the vision that you want inside, and it's really part of you, giving up just isn't an option. And you'll continue to hunt until you make it happen. You know, we have a lot of happening in teams. This movement is occurring more and more as our environment shifts. But there's too many teams that are not about the spirit of co-creation. It's more like a zombieism. You see it on Monday when reaching for the door with the said purpose of waiting to get to Friday. I wish you the best in forming your pack of wild dogs. Thank you very much.